Right then, so the first thing that we talked about initially was your setup. Feet were certainly pointing out to the right there.
Yeah.
You said, you admitted yourself, you felt that aiming right with your feet would help you sort of try and create more draw spin or reduce the slice spin that you're potentially getting here. The problem was, when that club was then being swung coming down to the golf ball, you had to try and come a different direction over the top and start the club. The path was still pretty square towards target. Look at the club face there being quite open a foot or so before the golf ball, trying to chop down across it. And therefore what you'll see now, if we just look down at your feet, you'll see your foot, your left heel lifting off the ground, and the feet then spinning round to do whatever you can just to start the golf ball somewhere in this direction, because you kind of know it's going to spin a little bit left to right. But if you're aiming right of target, trying to start the ball left of target, you've now got two conflicting movements, haven't you?
Yeah.
If we know it's going to start a little bit left of target and you want to fade the ball, that's fine. We've got to make sure then that when you do that, your feet are lining up to the target you want to go on, okay? And if we can go through that sequence that we said, start off with the club first, get the club down behind the golf ball, we know that's where the club goes, that's a given, get your hands on the golf club and then set your spine angle. Once you've done that, the feet then are the last things that you set. Try not to avoid putting the feet down first, trying to guess from the sort of side, we saw that sort of drill, putting the hands out straight in front of you. Our alignment's not very good when we do that from the side, so always try and get, again, pick a spot perhaps in front of the golf ball, aim the club at that spot, and then build the setup. So at least that way, from club to club, you're going to be more consistent with your setup. Because with every golf club, we know the club goes pretty much behind the golf ball, your hands go on the club, and then your spine angle is created as a result of that. Then once you've got that position with your feet being a lot straighter to target, your swing thought now from the top of your backswing, once you get to here, is the lower half now is going to bring the golf club down. Okay, and that will hopefully start in time changing your path to be more towards target. So if you're a slight fade or a slight draw, it's fine, but you'll be starting more direct towards target and less spin either way. So it might be one day might be a 5-yard fade, one day 5-yard draw. It wouldn't really matter as long as the ball's not starting this way and going further right, or going this way and just keep going further left.
Yeah.
Ideally, for consistency, if we think how many par 3s around Sundown, 4 par 3s, so you've got 14 tee shots where you're using a driver or a long club to hit the fairway. If we can hit 10, 11 fairways, and the 3 fairways or 4 fairways that you're going to miss, I mean, left-hand semi-rough or the right-hand semi-rough, not lost ball, reload, or in a gorse bush and unplayable or whatever, or fairway bunkers. Try to make sure that your shots are a lot more consistent that way, rather than potentially starting this way and curving further right, and then you getting on a hole like the first at Sundown, like the 18th. There's all this trouble over here, and go, right, get to the top of the backswing and you swing to there and go, right, I don't want to go the right somewhere, I'll just swing it somewhere left and hope for the best and do whatever I possibly can to start the ball in this direction, hoping I've got enough club face left that we're not going to slice 50 yards right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how golf play and practice differ. When you're on the range here now, all you're thinking about doing is smacking the golf ball to a target down there somewhere, whatever it may be. There's no influence about if I slice or hook it. It's just, well, there's still 20 balls behind me anyway, so I duff one, I can hit another shot, can't I?
Yeah.
So we've got to try to make sure when we do go to practice ranges or driving ranges or whatever you may do, try to be quite disciplined. So you're on the range, okay, right, I'm going to set up maybe 2 flags that are down the fairway at about 30 yards apart, I guess, with the 200 sign. That right-hand red flag is sort of common we tend to use, and try and hit the golf ball now between the gate. So you're actually hitting the ball into a fairway, not just whacking golf balls sort of willy-nilly and just think that was a good strike, because we need to know where the ball's going, okay?
Yeah.
Once you are at the top of the backswing now your lower half is going to work better. If you actually look at this position here now, you're coming down slightly out to in, but for me, your feet are more on the ground, you see. You're not spinning and pivoting to try and go left, because I think you feel at that address position, you don't need to start the ball further left, because you're aiming already for the target, you see.
Right.
So we can then twist through and rotate through. Your lower half's a lot more in sync with the top half. It's not sort of spinning round to try and do whatever it possibly can to hoik it left. So it was a slightly
have come round there as well.
That was more of a spin on your, see how you're both sort of spinning on your tiptoes, so please sort of get round and sort of hanging back. And because your right foot was dragged back, you can't really turn your hips. The more that foot is back here, that right hip, if the foot's back here, that right hip can't really twist through as easily. Okay, this is sort of going to be stuck in terms of how much it can twist through. So I think for me, key thing, setup sequence. Club first, okay, then grip, get your spine angle. The last thing you're going to set is your feet, but making sure your feet, to start with, feel to you left of target, because you want to start the ball just left of your target. Choose your target down there, and the visual sort of shape of shot you're trying to get is sort of like that. So starting just left of target and drift back to fairway. A fade isn't a bad shot as long as you're playing for a fade, starting left of target. If you're fading the golf ball, aiming 20 yards, 30 yards right, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
You've got 2 wrongs making a right. When they make a right, happy days. But when they don't, it's lost ball and destructive.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, John? Yeah?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Hit a couple more then, mate, and then we'll have a